Hello, welcome back, my beautiful people. Welcome back to Evergreen Organic Garden. It's a beautiful day. We had lots of rain today. The weather is a bit cloudy. Check out my garden bed with tomatoes. Look at that stake and the tomato cage. I have started to stake my tomatoes because they are growing fast. They've picked up, the weather is warm, so they're shooting out tomato suckers and leaves all over the place. And I have to prune these tomatoes today. I have to prune because they're growing so fast and it's time for me to start pruning my tomatoes. Look at that, they're starting to produce. That's the more reason I have to prune. I have to start pruning to keep them in check. That's right. I have more tomatoes on this side of my garden bed. As you can see, they are much smaller compared to the other side. This side of the garden bed with the tomato plants are about 3 weeks since I planted them, about 3 weeks now, and this side is about 6 weeks going on 7 weeks. Yep, you can tell the difference. This side has grown much bigger, and it's time for me to start pruning my tomatoes. Look at that. So I have to start pruning my tomatoes to get rid of the leaves that are not needed and tomato suckers. So tomato suckers are extra stem that attach itself to tomato plants. So it's up to you to decide which of the tomato suckers to get rid of and the one to leave. So on each tomato plant, I normally allow about 2 to 3 stems on one tomato plant, sometimes 4, depending how thick the tomato stems are. So as you can see here, I'm getting rid of these tomato leaves and suckers because they are not needed. If you want to grow tomatoes, it's very important to prune your tomatoes regularly. Look at this sucker, is not needed. I don't need it, so I have to get rid of it. Like I said, I only allow 2 to 3 stems on one tomato plant, sometimes 4 depending, but most of the time I allow 2 to 3 stems on one tomato plant. The reason for this is because I want quality harvest. I don't want my tomato plant to grow and produce suckers all over the place. If you allow this, all the suckers that are attached to one tomato plant, they will all be, competing for nutrients, and if the tomato plant is busy shooting out suckers and leaves, it will not produce quality harvest for you. It will just concentrate its energy, shooting out more suckers and leaves. But if you keep the tomato plants in check by pruning, by cutting out the suckers and leaves that are not needed, you are sending a message to the tomato plant to start producing fruits for you, not just spreading out suckers and tomato leaves. So look at this one right here. I'm getting rid of this tomato sucker. It's not needed. So I already have two tomato, you know, stem on that tomato. So I don't need extra, tomato sucker. So you have to prune regularly. I prune my tomatoes every 2 weeks. I prune my tomatoes. The reason for this is because I crop grow my tomatoes in a small section of this garden raised bed. So I have too many tomatoes. I crop grow my tomatoes. So I need my tomatoes to breathe. I need air to come into my garden raised bed to help keep the garden dry, and to keep disease at bay, because tomatoes are very susceptible to disease. If the tomato garden is not receiving good amount of airflow, it will facilitate tomato disease, and I don't want this. So that's the more reason I have to prune my tomatoes regularly to encourage airflow into my garden, especially if you are going to crop grow your tomatoes in a small area, just like I did here in this garden raised bed. Like I said, another reason why I prune my tomatoes regularly is because I want good harvest. Tomato is a vine that just want to spread its wings all over the place. It just want to grow and grow all over the place, shoot out, or branches all over the place. So you have to manage the tomatoes. You manage the tomatoes by staking the tomatoes, keeping them in place, and also by pruning your tomatoes, to encourage airflow into your garden, and to also encourage the tomatoes to produce good quality harvest for you. Like I said, I prune every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I prune my tomatoes. I come to my garden. I get rid of the suckers and the leaves that are not needed, just like I'm doing here. And I stake my tomatoes to make sure, they are staked properly. So this is what I do. So if you are interested in growing your own vegetables, your own tomatoes, in organic way, if you've been following my channel, you know that I encourage organic farming, organic gardening. This is what I do because this is what I eat. I have control over what I use in producing my own food. So I try to go organic as much as I can, by burying kitchen scraps, all the organic materials, eggshell, banana peels, all the rotten vegetables. I bury them in my soil. This is how I grow my organic vegetables. I fortify my soil with all the organic vegetables. Recently, I introduced a new organic material into my soil, which is organic chicken manure that I bought from Amazon. So far, that's the only organic materials that I've bought from the store that I've, added to my soil. Other than that, everything else are all organic materials that I got from my kitchen scraps, dry leaf mulch, grass mulch, dry wood, all the organic material. That's what I used to bury in my soil to grow vegetable. Look at all these suckers. You see that? So these are all tomato leaves and suckers that are not needed. So I got rid of them to encourage airflow into my garden bed, and to encourage the tomatoes to start producing tomato fruit for me, not just growing leaves and suckers all over the place. So you have to manage your tomatoes. You have to manage your tomato plants if you are interested in growing tomatoes. You have to do that if you want a good harvest and to help keep disease at bay. You have to prune your tomatoes regularly, encourage airflow into the garden. If you do this, you'll be able to get good quality tomatoes. Tomatoes are packed with good nutrients. Here I have my barrel that I use in catching some rain water. It rained today and the weather is somehow cloudy. We might be getting more inches of rain today. Who knows? Tomatoes are packed with good nutrients, with potassium, with vitamin E, with vitamin A. I cook a lot with tomatoes. I make different dishes with tomatoes. So as you can see, I enjoy growing tomatoes. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And while you're at it, please hit the like button, notification button, so you'll be notified each time I upload new videos. I appreciate you a lot. My returning subscribers, thank you so much. I'll catch you guys on my next video.